What up, YouTube? Knowledge of self-determination. So, I want to talk about today what we know about our natural enemy. What we know about our natural enemy. So, this is how I see it. This is how I pretty much see it so far as how white people go. You could possibly apply this to other races of people, but we're just talking about white people right now. Because white supremacy is the system that we are trying to topple, destroy, eviscerate. So the way I see it, there's three main types of white people. You have the white person who is, like at your job, nice, speaks to everybody, friendly, to your face, goes home and hates anything that's not white. Probably doesn't have any friends of any other races. If they do, maybe one or two that are non-black they might be friends with. Or an especially special coon, right? But this person doesn't have any connections to anybody non-white, And like all white people, they know that their history is false, or they hope it's not false. But in the event, next you have the white person who is very nice, very friendly, actually likes and cares about non-white people, and that may actually have friends, a multitude of color variations and ethnicities and cultures and races, right? This person may have let their children spend the night at your house, or this is a real friend. Excuse me. And then you have, your typical white supremacist white person, to any greater or lesser degree. They may be just, stark ravingly, just outright, just hateful, or they may be a lot more mild-mannered, you know what I'm saying? But these are people who do not associate with anyone who is not white. These are people who are actively trying to do things to hurt, harm, destroy, disrupt the black community. Right? Now, out of those three types of white people, the one thing they all have in common is the fact that they do not want to lose their privilege. They do not want to lose their privilege. Excuse me. They want to maintain privilege. No matter how much they like you or how much they want to be your friend, they'll give that shit up to keep white privilege. Okay? They'll keep that up to maintain white privilege, to maintain their privileged status in this society. Without a doubt. That's the one thing they all have in common. Now, you may ask, well, how can I be so sure of this? I have white friends. I've, spent the night at my white friend's house, or blah, blah, blah. We've been through thick and thin with each other. Okay. You just may have. Now, again, this is me generalizing the group. This doesn't necessarily speak to the individual, because you might have some outliers. You may have some individuals who just may walk away from their white privilege to maintain a friendship in a close-knit bond. You just may. It's very fucking unlikely, but you just might. But in any event, they will not get rid of their white supremacy. Their white privilege. Case in point. History. Everywhere you go in the world where the people are brown, dark-skinned, they are oppressed. They are under the boot or the heel of the dominant class. The dominant class is always light-skinned people or their relatives and or descendants. Right? Excuse me. The color caste system that has been set up is the perfect example of this privilege and how it works. And I've stated this in videos before. There are no coalitions of white people fighting against white supremacy. I have yet to hear, with the exception of less than a handful of white people, actually put themselves up as an enemy to white supremacy. I've only heard less than a handful of people. White people, that is. The rest of them won't do it. Why? Because if they can't topple male-dominated white supremacy, now they've exposed themselves and they'll be ousted from the group or severely punished for their treachery, right? For betraying their race. So the thing with them is, if we win against white supremacy, they're good. If we lose, they're fucked. They don't think we can win. So they're not going to actually come out and actually stand by your side and fight. They'll march, they'll protest. Everybody's wearing masks for the most part now. So, I mean, they're covered up anyway. So you can't really tell who they are in the first place. But when it actually comes down to actually being equal, they may be out there with you right now. Remember, they marched with Dr. Martin Luther King in the 60s. They marched with him. White people did. They marched with him. And look what happened. The civil rights laws got passed. Right? But, excuse me, our leadership kind of stuck it to us because everybody benefited from what was supposed to be strictly for us. And white supremacy being what it is, acquiesce, but when they found they could, sneak a real quick jab in, if we make it for everybody, then it'll be for nobody. Ha 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 ha. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers are the villains in the story. Every story that you see, movie about the fucking supervillain trying to take over the world, guess what? The supervillain won. Hydra won, motherfucker. All of the Captain America fans understand that reference. I'm sure everybody's seen Captain America by now. Hydra won. You know what I'm saying? They won 2,000 years ago. You dig? The villains are right in the story. You understand? The prisoners have the keys to the prison. The inmates control the prison. The prison is Earth. Guess who the inmates who now control it are? White supremacy. The inmates have the keys to the prison. They control the fucking prison. You understand? They're not trying to give that up. The power is, what is the saying? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Without a doubt. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of my insight on white supremacists. Listen, man. And I want to say this also. They are attacking soft targets. I keep trying to fucking tell my people, man, you got to stop spending money on dumb shit and find somebody to teach you combat training. You understand? You need to engage yourself in combat training. You understand that? You need to be able to engage 3 to 5 people. You know what I'm saying? And do damage. You need to be able to do that. As hard as the fuck it is, with the right training, you can at least survive an attack. As opposed to, doing some movie shit. You don't have a stuntman in real life. You get punched in the face, that shit fucking hurts. You know what I'm saying? But what are you going to do after you get punched? Anyway, we need combat training. They're looking at soft targets. Look at the black people. Look at what they did to Breonna Taylor. They shot through the fucking walls and the door in our apartment. She was asleep when they killed her. You understand? They didn't know anybody was going to be there because obviously her boyfriend wasn't on the lease. So, proud of that brother for doing what he did. You know, Ahmaud Arbery, he was by himself. You understand? The brother, George Floyd, he was by himself. Especially when he was on the ground. They keep the brother that was right out here in is it Palm Springs, I believe, right out here in California? The brother that was just found lynched. I haven't listened to the story because I'm getting kind of sick of hearing about this shit. White people want to cry about cops being murdered. This is what the fuck they had coming to them for brutalizing black people. I'm not surprised that there are people who feel as though they need to retaliate. I'm not surprised by that. Now, my people really need to understand how imperative it is to learn some type of combat training. You have to. They're attacking soft targets. You have to prepare yourself. Stay in groups, or at least buy tools. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need to buy every pair of new Jordans that come out. Real talk. Combat training is a must. You understand? I know how much we like sports, basketball, football. You can still do all of those things. But you need to learn how to defend and protect yourself and your loved ones. You need to. You need to. You need to. They're attacking soft targets. I can't say it enough. The white supremacists, they know who to go after, which is why in real talk, you could be by yourself. Depending on the circumstances and, you know, certain things, you could be by yourself. If they don't peg you as a soft target, they'll actually be your they'll carry on a conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? And this is from my personal experience. I've been in the company of white supremacists. I know they were white supremacists because they had fucking swastikas tattooed in their skulls or tattooed on their fucking their hands and shit, on the back of their hands. You know what I'm saying? Or other white supremacist fucking tattoos and shit, like the spider's webs and all them shits like that, and all that other shit. And the fucking the SS, the Nazi symbol and shit. You know what I'm saying? And if it weren't for the obvious, you know what I'm saying, body markings, I wouldn't have known the person was a white supremacist. We carried on conversation, or we didn't carry on much conversation at all. You know, it just was what it was. But they didn't try to bring me a move. But black people are getting attacked all over the place. Don't be a soft target, is all I'm saying. If they look at you and they think you can handle yourself, chances are you can. Chances are they're going to be intimidated by that. Remember, like the dude Richard Spencer said, they don't believe in competition. They don't want fucking competition. They just want to fucking win. They just want to have it handed to them by they don't give a fuck about morality. They don't give a fuck about anything but them winning. That's what we're dealing with. An enemy who doesn't give a fuck about competition. They just want to win, and they're going to win by any means necessary. Keep that in mind.